Every time that you learn a new Tai Chi routine, it's very common to sort of find yourself in a spot going, I think this is where I'm supposed to be, but I'm not sure. Well, tonight I'm going to answer the question that came from a viewer about where you should be now that you've completed section 1 of the long form. Hi everybody, it's David-Dorian Ross and welcome to the Cherry Blossom Studio. Today is day 15 of 100 days of Tai Chi. We've got a brand new movement called Carrying the Tiger to the Mountain. I've got a viewer question of the day, which I just kind of gave you a little hint about, and it's time for our weekly wrap-up of the new movements that we did since last week, and I've done that in a very special way, and I'm going to tell you all about that right after this. When you finally get to the end of section 1 and you find yourselves in cross hands, you've got a couple of options actually. You can simply separate the hands and let them float down to your sides. This foot steps together and voila, you have finished a whole routine. You could just stop right there. Or you could proceed into section 2 of the long form with a movement called Carrying the Tiger to the Mountain. When you watch this, you're going to say, I recognize that movement, because you're actually going to see a mashup of two movements we've already learned. Brush knee in a twisted step and seizing the sparrow's tail. Specifically, the movements roll back, press, and push. Watch me and see if you can catch all of that. So here I am at the end of raised hands. Did you catch that? You may have missed some of it because I was turned away from you, because this movement has a huge 135-degree angle turn to step into a corner almost behind you. Let me do this one more time, starting facing away the way I normally would have. Normally you would be behind me following along in class, and so this is the view that you would get. Of course, if you were following me, then you'd be turning around too. Anyway, here's where we begin. Crossing hands. All right, let's break this down. Now, Carrying the Tiger to the Mountain has 4 parts, just like seizing the sparrow's tail has 4 parts. In fact, 3 out of the 4 are the same pieces. Let's break it down piece by piece. So I'm going to do this mirror image to you. This would be your left foot right here. This would be your right foot, okay? So I am first going to shift the weight to the right foot, turning the left toes in. Then back onto the left foot so the right foot can swing out to the corner and step into the corner into a lunge, into a bow step. That's part 1. That's the first piece. And by the way, when you swing that foot out to step into a bow step, remember that you've got to leave enough room for a channel right in there, right? So don't step in the corner and be on the tightrope. Watch out for that. Got that? So that's part 1. Part 2. Once you're in the lunge, is simply to sit back and turn the waist towards the right. Here it is from a different angle, so that if you've got that right foot forward, you would sit back and turn your waist towards the left. I'm sorry, I told you the wrong thing because I was doing mirror image. So you turn that waist to the left. Okay? That's part 2. Part 3 is to square up those hips and shift into your bow step again. Here it is from another angle. Again, so that you can see I'm sitting on my back leg. I've got my waist turned towards the left. Now I'm going to square that up and shift forward again. I'm cheating. I just don't want to get you confused. I'm cheating the angle here so you can see it on camera. This actually takes place in this corner. You guys got that, I hope? right? So this is part 3. Part 4, I sit back and return to the bow step one more time. Okay, 4 parts. If you need to, you can roll that back and replay that. All right, here's what the hands do. Part 1, I am in my cross hands position here. As I turn towards the right side here, my right hand slides down the inside, excuse me, my left hand slides down the inside of the right elbow, then arcs around to the corner. Now here we are in the preparatory position of a brush knee and push movement, just like we've done so many times. I step out, the elbow sinks, I brush over the top of the knee and push into the corner. Right? That's a movement we have done so many times that should be no problem. That's part 1. Now here's part 2, and I'm going to just cheat this back so you can see this. I have one hand low, one hand high. The low hand floats up as I sit on back and turn my waist so that the 2 hands can roll back, turning towards the left. That's part 2. Part 3 is I square up those hips and the fingers of the left hand come to the inside of the right forearm. Shifting forward into that bow step, there's my squeeze. That's part 3. Okay? Squeezing forward. Finally, part 4, I separate the hands, sit back one more time when the hands come into the chest, shift back into your lunge, and push. Right? And that's the final position, the 4 parts of Carry Tiger to the Mountain. Let me do that one more time. Facing away, you follow me. I know you know what you're doing. Here we go. This is the proper way. Crossing hands. Turn. Separate the hands. Brush knee in the corner. Sitting on back. Roll back. Square up the hips. Squeeze. Separate the hands. Withdraw. And push. Carry Tiger to the Mountain. First move in the second section. Well, that was well done. Now, let me answer the question that came from one of our viewers. Thisbe asked a question about where we should be ending up at the end of the first section. Is it just a little bit to the left, she says, I guess I'm going to do this mirror image, to your left of the starting position, if this is open the door, right? So, in fact, it is to the left of open the door, but more than just a little bit, it's quite a ways. So if you have watched the wrap-up of all of the movements so far, you'll have seen that I really traveled quite a bit. This studio here, Cherry Blossom Studio, is actually smaller than it looks. You know, TV magic makes it look so big, but it's actually about 10 feet. And so the traveling distance for the long form is about double that. So you need about 20 feet. And so from open the door position, I'm going to travel down around 20 feet to the finish of apparent closure and then cross hands. However, if you don't have a big space like that and you want to make it work in your living room or whatever, there are a couple of tips I can share with you about how to do that. First of all, you can make smaller steps. Your bow steps don't have to be, really long, double shoulder width, extreme steps. You can shorten them up. You can make them tiny as long as you've got the ability to shift your weight 60-40, right? That's the main thing. Number 2, remember that there's a bunch of repetitions in the first section. We do brush knee, play peepaw, 3 more brush knees, play peepaw, brush knee. You could actually just stop after the first brush knee, right? You don't even have to do play the peepaw. So you can go from, you're in Crane's Bread's Wings, and just do 1 brush knee and go right from there into deflect, downward, parry, and punch. You could get away with that, and that would help you manage a smaller space. The third possibility is to back up after every few steps, which is not my favorite because it sort of disrupts the flow, but it's very practical and I often do that in a small space. So that's some answers about where you should be. You should definitely be, I'm going to turn around, if this is my open the door position, to the left of open the door, way down there somewhere, about 20 feet away. All right, now I gave a little teaser about watching the wrap up of all of the movements we've done so far. So instead of putting that roundup in this video, I've actually made a completely separate video. Some of you might have seen it again. If you haven't seen it, I put the links to it in the information about this video down below. So I would go right away, click on that, and go watch. I've done the entire first section and demonstration. We had a chance to get out in the garden and where we had about 20 feet and do the whole first section for you. I really had some fun with this. I hope that you like it. So go right now and see that. Yeah, tomorrow's another day. I got another great question of the day lined up already. It's a doozy. Got another new movement of the day. That's all I know. So, oh yes, subscribe. You know you want to subscribe if you haven't already done so. If you have subscribed, thank you first of all. But you could always share this video with another person and suggest to them that they subscribe. Please continue to leave those comments. I love those questions. They make the whole show so much better, and they do really answer a lot of great information that people want to know. And I'm just delighted to hear what people are interested in. That's, I think, all I've got. So I'll see you in tomorrow's lesson. Be well.